Welcome back to the shop. I've got been toying around on the mini lathe, making what I think might be a pretty good idea. We'll have to leave this for another day, but I have an idea for making a pulley. This will be in a week or two. Beyond that, I've got some tree work. That's sort of why the pulleys might come in handy. I've got traditional ones, but anyway, can never have enough. So part of what I'm going to be doing is cutting roots out of the ground. And I've got a cheap, very cheap, this is like less than $10 I believe on Amazon, and it just doesn't have any sharpness to it at all. I mean, I'm not sure the best way to tell sharpness for these things, and I believe that having a super sharp edge on this might be counterproductive, in the sense that if you have a fine bevel, like the finer this bevel, the longer this incline, the narrower the point, the quicker it's going to get dull. So you want to have a relatively sharp point, but anyway, or you want to have it collapse quickly towards the end. But anyway, this sort of gives me an opportunity to show you what a belt sander can typically be used for when you're not restoring tools. This is just a great use of a belt sander. They're great for sharpening tools. They're great for keeping an edge on things. So, you know, there's nothing better than a sharp shovel. And I think I'm just going to put a quick edge on this and get a little content on the channel, because there's going to be sort of a break in content until after Christmas, unless I learn how to post some videos with my tablet. Well, and I've been working on that. We'll see how it goes. It's nothing imperative, nothing I can't that can't wait or whatnot. But I have a feeling that if you're sitting around waiting for something to cook, or, you know, just chilling at the family's house or something, and you're bored and you want to, it'd be nice to have some content on YouTube. So anyway, I'm going to bring you over and I'm going to sharpen this up on my 1x40 2-inch belt sander. So I had some 220 grit on here, and I had tried to dress up what I thought was high-speed steel from my mini lathe, and it completely wiped this out, which probably makes this 1,000 or something grit now. But it doesn't mean it's useless. It just means that it's much finer than it used to be. So I'm going to just hang this off on the side. I'm going to put on another used belt. This one's got a little bit of chowder on here, but from watching Scout Crafter, he said, go down and get one of these sanding belt cleaning things. And I said, yeah, you know what, I'll just blow it out with the air hose, and that sort of works some of the time. But I said, you know, let me just break down and buy one of these things. So if you can see this, hopefully you can see it from that angle. It does a remarkable job. It doesn't burn up much of this at all. It really does a great job. Thanks for recommending that. That was a great tip, and it's really made me start using some belts that were clogged up that I just said, you know, I'll get back to later on or whatever. But anyway, back to the axe right now. What I want to do is, well, let me get this label off here and I'll bring it back. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Let me take this to the fiber wheel and see what it looks like after that. So, everybody asks me about this fiber wheel. It works really well, and I mentioned it in one video, but I've neglected to mention it in others. The fiber wheel is a great buffing tool. I'm really happy to have it in my shop. It's made by a company called UXCell. It's called UXCELL, and this wheel was less than $20, and from Amazon. And one thing that I neglected to mention in all the videos is that I highly recommend you using this, if you do decide to buy one, on a lower RPM machine. Ben Mall, who's got a great channel, go check it out if you haven't already seen his stuff. He bought one of these, and he says, oh, well, you know, I need to get a machine with the larger arbor, the 5/8" arbor. And I said, whatever you do, make sure that you get the slow RPM, because this is just terrifying when it's running full speed. But it does a really nice job, and it's fun, it's comfortable, it's nice to use at this RPM. But you know, at any higher RPM, it's just freaky. So I'll show you what kind of finish it puts on. So that was the original one. You can see that it's there's more grain on this one from the belt sander that it was trued at the factory, and then this sort of knocks that down. This is a very good area to be at. Then you go to the buffing wheel, and the buffing wheel with the buffing compound, we'll bring that right up to a mirror. It might be fun to do that, but I'm going to throw this thing in the dirt. So, and I want to get it done. I got some other stuff I got to do today. So anyway, moral of this story is that this thing does a nice job, and you want to use it with a lower RPM machine. Alright, so now that I got the sticker off of there, what I want to do is come through and just put a better edge on this. There's nothing special about it. There's no special skill or anything that I have. I'm sure the real knife makers have a special procedure and whatnot. This is not a how-to video. This is just what I do, and just demonstrate how this tool can be used for you know, practical stuff day in and day out. So anyway, this is an 80 grit. There with the 150 grit. This is that really worn out 220 grit. So this is a leather belt. For whatever reason, it came with a piece of white rue, and every indication is that this is not the right material, but with a great degree of deference, I'm just going to do what they tell me to. But this does a great job for maintaining an edge and slightly sharpening a knife. I'm going to do my pocket knife while we're here. It probably doesn't do a hell of a lot of good without it before, but anyway, this thing is pretty sharp now. So it was pretty sharp before, but this leather belt is great. I'm going to go ahead and touch the axe to it while it's here. Right, so that's I sort of got a little out of hand with the sticker removal, and I didn't spend too much time shining it up, but I'm going to put a little bit of paste wax on this, and that should keep it nice. The sharpness of this, you can see that it's pretty sharp now. More than good enough to cut roots. But the belt sander is a great tool for sharpening anything. You saw me sharpen my pocket knife, this axe, you know, shovels. If I had enough room in my shop to swing a shovel handle around, I can't. I just got to be careful about not hitting the fluorescent lights. But anyway, the belt sanders are great tools. I think that if anybody's in the market to buy a belt sander, you're going to look for two things. One is you're going to look for something that has a belt that's easy to change. I've never owned the Central Pneumatic or the Wen brand. I think Grizzly, that's what Scoutcrafter has. I don't know exactly. He seems to get a lot of use out of it, gets a lot of good work done with it. So I think I would have to say that I would shy away from Harbor Freight kind of belt sanders, because you're going to get a lot of use out of them. They're great tools. And the problem is that I can see with them is that the belts are not necessarily easy to change, one, and then two, this is very, very interesting. This is what I learned from Ben Mall's channel. Go check out Ben's channel if you haven't seen it. It's M-A-L-L. But 357 Magdad, who's also got a great channel if you haven't seen his yet, was saying, well, Ben said that his first sander shocked him. And I said, well, geez, that's scary that you're buying stuff brand new and it's shocking you. And then, you know, the second sander that when he returned the first one also shocked him. And I said, geez, what are the odds of that? There's got to be something else going on there. And 357 says it's the static electricity, the charge that's built up between the plastic drive wheel and the belt. So, you know, another one of my viewers was just lamenting to me saying that he's got to do everything by hand because of his pacemaker. So, anyway, you know, it would have never occurred to me that the plastic drive wheels would have built up a static charge like that. So anyway, when you go to buy a belt sander, I would recommend you do your homework. Again, look for two things: something that's easy to change the belt on, and something that doesn't have plastic drive wheels. The Kalamazoo that I have, the 1x42, fits that criteria, as does my Mead. And that Mead was repackaged as a Craftsman, Rockwell, all sorts of other companies over the years, and I don't know the last time it was manufactured. But anyway. If you find an older one, I guess is where I'm going with this whole thing. So if you find an older belt sander, 1x42 is a great size because the belts are still reasonably priced. But a 1x32 or 1x30 is more than adequate to do really good work, as evidenced by Scoutcrafter's channel. So anyway, that's just a little my 2 cents on the belt sander. Actually, not my 2 cents. It's me regurgitating stuff I learned from other creators out there. So again, go check out 357 Magdad and Ben Mall. There's great guys. And anyway, this is gonna be a filthy mess by the time I'm done with it. But anyway, you'll see it in some upcoming videos. So if I don't get anything else up between now and when I get back from vacation, have a great Christmas. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and have a good day.